Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel Cakes by MK. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a really easy and cost-effective way to make your own edible glitter at home. Now, buying edible glitter is not always cheap, and it can be difficult to source as well, depending on where you're staying. But with this method that I'm going to show you guys today, it makes it so simple and easy to make on your own. You only need 3 simple ingredients, and I'm still amazed every time I make it because I can't believe I created these gorgeous glittery colors only using those 3 ingredients. So I hope after this video and after you guys try it out, you're just as amazed as I am. If you're new to my channel, please click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you're updated whenever I upload a new video. Apart from that, stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So the 2 really simple ingredients that I'm going to be using to make the base of my edible glitter today is water and corn flour, and that is basically it. And afterwards, when I come to coloring it, I'm just going to add a little bit of gel color, but I'll show you when we come to that step. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to combine my water and my corn flour into this saucepan, and I'm going to bring that to a boil and then just let it simmer for probably about 10 minutes or so until it gets nice and thick in consistency, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like when it gets to that point. Now, just before I start, in terms of quantities, all you need is 1 tablespoon of corn flour per 1 cup of water. And I find that 1 cup of water to 1 tablespoon of corn flour is enough to give me a good amount of 2 different colors. So if you want more, if you want to say create 4 different colors of edible glitter, then simply just double that. So use 2 cups of water and 2 tablespoons of corn flour, and that's pretty much it. And then I'm just going to use a spatula to mix it all around. And I find that a spatula works really well because as you're mixing it, you'll notice that sometimes the corn flour kind of sticks to the bottom a little bit. It's not really sticking, but it's kind of just staying in that one place. So a spatula helps to really kind of mix it all around nice and evenly so that it's heating up evenly. And you also want to make sure that you're using a non-stick pan for this. So my mixture's been going for about 10 minutes now, and I've turned off the heat because it looks like it's ready. So 2 signs to show you that your mixture is ready is, one is when you put your spatula through the mixture isn't too liquidy, so it does take a little bit of time to kind of spread away, so that kind of is a good indication that it's thick enough. And another sign is that you'll start to get dry pieces of the mixture around the edge of your pan. I'm not quite sure if you can see that in the camera, but there's like these little, dry pieces on the sides, and if you get your fingers, you can almost like peel them off. But I'm not going to do that at the moment because my pan is quite hot. And now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to distribute this mixture into 2 bowls, which I'm then going to color. So now what you want to do is you want to decide which colors that you want your glitter to be. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one of my colors purple and the other I'm going to go for a goldy color. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of the gel color to the 2 mixtures just until I reach the color that I want. So for the purple, I'm just going to go ahead and just put a drop of purple gel food color in it. And for the goldy color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of brown, and then I'm going to add some yellow, and that should help me get like a nice kind of semi-goldy color. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to spread out these two mixtures onto a piece of acetate sheet or OHP paper, so the type of paper that you can just find at like your local stationery shop, but today I'm just using acetate sheet. Now I've just got one long piece here, so I'm just going to put half of my mixture on one side and half of my mixture on the other side. And I'm just going to use the back of my spoon to help spread it all around, and you want it to be quite thin. Okay, so I've spread out my two mixtures onto my piece of acetate sheet, and all you want to do now is you want to let this air dry until it's completely dry. Now you know that it's ready once the mixture releases itself completely from the acetate sheet, so it ends up being kind of its own just kind of piece of paper which is completely separate to the acetate sheet, which I'll show you soon what that looks like. And how long this takes to dry really depends on the climate that you're living in or the conditions under which your mixture is sitting. So for example, for me here in New Zealand at the moment, it's really cold, and so if I just left this out at the current temperature, it'll probably take me maybe 2 or 3 days for this to completely dry. But if I leave it under my air conditioner, which keeps our house nice and warm, then it takes about kind of 24 to 48 hours to completely dry. Now if you live in a warmer climate, it might take a shorter amount of time, but if you stay in a really cold place, it might take a bit longer. So I would recommend putting this in a nice warm place and under an air conditioner or something if you need it a little bit more quickly. You can also use a hairdryer to help speed up the process a little bit, but yeah, that's basically it. So I'm going to pop this aside now, and I made some earlier, so I'm going to show you guys what it looks like once it's ready. So what I've got here is I've got some of that cornflour mixture which I prepared earlier in a whole bunch of different colors, and it's nicely dried now. So as I mentioned before, the cornflour mixture should literally come off like a piece of sheet on its own. And sometimes it may kind of stick little pieces here and there, but generally it should all come off. And when you feel it, it's kind of like, it feels like it's going to break, but it's actually quite strong. So you can kind of, bend it and stuff and it shouldn't break. Now, before I move on to the next step, I do want to quickly mention something. So when I first started trialing this out, I thought, why can't I do this on baking paper? So I tried it on baking paper, and unfortunately it just doesn't work in the same way. So the cornflour mixture doesn't quite come off as nicely, and you don't have this nice shine to it. So when I refer to shine, this is what I mean. So that's the front of the cornflour piece of paper, but if I flip it over, hopefully you can see that on the camera, it's got this really nice shine to it. And if I show you the same thing with the white one, it's kind of got a matte look on one side, but on the other side, it's got this really nice shine to it. And that's basically what you want, because that's what's going to give us that kind of glittery effect when we come to turning it into glitter, which I'll show you shortly. Now, that doesn't happen when you do it on baking paper, and I also tried doing it on a silicone mat. So these are the ones that I tried on the silicone mat, and if I just put them side by side, so just to compare, let's look at the white. So in this case, like I showed you before, the white's got this really beautiful shine to it. But if I take the white from the silicone mat, as you can see, it's matte on both of the sides, which is not what we want. So it doesn't quite work as well on silicone mats either. So I'd say stick to the acetate sheet or the OHP paper. And then to turn these sheets of cornflour into edible glitter, what you need to do next is you just need to grind it up in a really fine grinder, and that's what's going to give you the small little pieces of edible glitter. You can also make glitter flakes out of this, which are slightly larger, and all you need to do is just grind it a little bit less. And yeah, you can basically just play around with it until you get the size that you're happy with. So I'm going to start off with this goldy color, so I'm just simply going to just crinkle it together. Put it into my grinder, and I'm simply going to grind away. Now, you may need to stop every now and then to give it a little mix if it's not quite, grinding as well. And also make sure that your grinder is super dry, so you don't want any moisture, otherwise it's going to cause your cornflour paper to kind of start clumping up, which you don't want. So yeah, just make sure it's really dry and keep checking on it every now and then until you get the size that you're happy with. Okay, so I have finished grinding my gold color one, and I'm going to put it into a little dish so you guys can see what it looks like. And I am left with this really beautiful sparkly gold edible glitter. Now, as you take a closer look at your edible glitter, I'm sure by this point you're going to be absolutely amazed, because I'm still amazed every time I make this. You'll notice that it's got this beautiful glittery shine to it, and that's because of that shine on the back of our cornflour paper that you get when putting on the acetate sheet. So you really want to make sure that you've got that glittery shine to it, otherwise you're not going to get the look of a real edible glitter. But yeah, that's basically it. So now I'm just going to do the exact same thing with the rest of my cornflour sheets, and then I'm going to show you guys all my colors side by side. Now, I've just finished grinding my different colors together, and they look absolutely incredible. They're so beautiful and shiny. I hope you guys can see just how incredible they look through the close-up shots. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when I was grinding these, I did 5 colors all at once, and my poor little grinder, I think, got a little bit overworked, and towards the end, it wasn't grinding as well as I wanted it to. So in some of these, last colors that I did, there are a few kind of bigger pieces of the glitter, but it's okay. It still looks really pretty, but just keep in mind that, if you want it to be really, really fine, then just make sure that you're giving your grinder enough kind of time and space to grind well without overheating it. So yeah, apart from that, that's basically how you easily create your own beautiful glitter at home. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this, and thanks again for watching Cakes by MK.